They are, but one hit wonder.
Hey everyone, it's Ivan with KitBadger.com here for the next part in our 2021 Coast to Coast tour. Picking up where we left off, waking up in the nicest hotel we've stayed in, probably because it wasn't a Motel 6, hotel casino that we stayed in. And first things first, ended up getting a little bit of time in the pool. I hopped in and then I'm like, okay, there's things I need to take care of, but my boys went after it and swam for at least a solid hour or so that morning. From there, we ended up loading up, driving straight out to the range, Pro Gun Vegas. Went out there, went ahead and checked in, got all of our stuff for the range, basically waivers and wristbands, headed down and started setting up. Definitely always a monster, takes tons and tons of time, but gotta just make it work. So everyone pitched in, went ahead, got all of our targets out, went ahead, set up some awnings. We got two, a 12 by 12 and a 10 by 10, because shade's a big deal and Las Vegas in the middle of June. That said, we lucked out on the weather. On the one hand, we ended up having basically a lot of wind, which kept it cooler than it otherwise would have been. But then we also had basically a little bit of thunder and lightning roll through, some rain at one point, pretty much all the weather that we could get. But rolled straight into our second range day of the tour and it was awesome. Q, title sponsor of the 2021 tour, all of the guns out there. Whether it's the Fix, that thing is a blast to shoot. Unfortunately, we only had so much room. We could get out to about 250 yards, but people got to get behind it, put some rounds through it. Thing is a ton of fun. I will say at one point on its tripod, that whole gun got blown over. No one caught it. Straight onto the rocks, but picked it back up and confirmed some zero and continued shooting. Thing is a fun gun to shoot. We also, of course, had out there the Honey Badger SD and the Honey Badger pistol, as well as my prototype 5.56 Sugar Weasel. That one people really enjoyed. On that one too, it actually has, I guess the one I have is a prototype pre-production model of their trigger. Thing's incredible, super clean, really short reset, awesome trigger. And then shooting through that, we also got into a bunch of the other guns. Also one of our sponsors, Radian Weapons, amazing ARs. Those things were a lot of fun, whether it was their 17.5 inch Model 1 with the jumbo shrimp on there or their 10.5 inch Model 1. I will say that 10.5 Model 1, I was kind of playing around when things quieted down. Pretty sure we didn't get it on film, of course, but 10.5 inch Radian Model 1 pistol, ScalarWorks, peak iron sights, 200 yards, reduced silhouette, offhand. Pretty easy day, like as long as you do your part. Impart, the trigger on there, the barrel, all of it. Really cool guns. Also there, High Point, both the Gen1 Yeet Cannon as well as their 995 Carbine. Those are a ton of fun, and what makes them even more fun is the Erector 9. I had mentioned earlier I had some Erector 9s coming out, and they didn't make it because, man, shipping has been a monster. But they finally caught up. My buddy Bo actually lives there in the Vegas area. He ended up bringing those out day of, so we could go ahead and throw them on the guns. And with the fixed barrel adapters, basically throwing it on that Gen1 Yeet Cannon as well as onto that 995 carbine. So much fun to shoot, especially with that subsonic 9mm. Also out there from Sawtooth Rifles, amazing custom bolt action rifle. My buddy Matt Yore of Sawtooth Rifles, incredibly talented gunsmith, ended up actually building that gun. It was one of 2 guns that won the 2018 USASOC Sniper Challenge. On it have a Brownells 5x25, one of their precision rifle scopes, Japanese glass, really nice and clear. It's in a ScalarWorks Leap mount, and then everything's quiet, right? All of it suppressed. So on there we had the full Nelson silencer by Q. People were making some really good shots with that. Also, apparently it's Ira's favorite gun to shoot from the tripod. So he's like, Dad, can I shoot that? I'm like, sure. And so all throughout there, we have a bunch of steel targets by Thor targets. And one of the targets we have is actually a hostage one where there's a plate out there at about 100 yards or so. And yeah, like one shot after another, basically knocking that plate from side to side, which was pretty cool. Not all the adults were able to make that shot, but 9-year-old behind the gun was. I don't know. Some of the other cool guns we have out there are the Brownells BRN-180, one of which is chambered in 300 Blackout. That's gonna get auctioned off and support a SOC F at the end of this, as well as some of the other guns to include that 10.5-inch Radian Model 1, as well as a fix. But we also had their 5.56 version as well. Both of them suppressed, both of them pleasure to shoot. And then 2 pretty cool guns coming along on this tour, one of which that will actually be auctioned, and the other of which was actually sent out by Shooting Surplus. The Zev OZ9 with the Erector 9, and then also the SR-25 by Knights Armament, which was sent out by Shooting Surplus with a trash pan on there. Really fun guns, and we used both of them to do a fun little competition. Basically starting with 1 round in each magazine respectively, pick up the on the buzzer, pick up the magazine, load the pistol, 1 hit on a IPSC steel reduced silhouette, transition over to the rifle, load that thing up, and another shot out on steel. Really fun. And then the winner of that ended up getting to go ahead and pick a brand new pair of Magpul glasses that got sent out by Magpul. And then everyone got to go ahead and grab a shirt. Q sent out a bunch of really cool shirts, so dug through, found their sizes, and pretty good little competition. It's hard to have more fun shooting than 22s. We had a Glock 44 with an Erector by Q on it. That one was sent out by Shooting Surplus, as well as a Ruger Charger in SB Tactical chassis, also sent out by Shooting Surplus. I believe that one had the El Camino on it. And then lastly, my son's little Savage Rascal single shot bolt action. It's a little bolt action single shot, and it's rad. Chop down, SBR'd, not the most ergonomic gun because it's literally made for a child, but it is a blast. I will say Peanut is probably the coolest range dog throughout everything. Just chilling, hanging out, occasionally getting some pets. And part of it is everything's suppressed, right? All the guns have Q cans on them, or I believe 2 are Liberty with the Cherry Bomb and the Plan B. And yeah, makes for a really nice, pleasant range day. And like the real center of the range day, honestly, at the heart of it, it's the people. We had another great turnout with amazing people. More people definitely came to this range day, which was fun to have just more people there. But it was really cool. Like, people flew in from Florida, like, to make the range day. And we had people driving over from California to taste a little bit of freedom that they don't get over there. And one of my buddies, Keith, drove like 5 hours up from Arizona. it was really cool to see a lot of people from different places come together, converge, and just sharing a really cool experience and just have a rad time out there. Eventually, sun started getting low in the sky and it was time to pack up. So once again, everyone pitched in, started tearing everything down and getting it loaded back onto the bus. After a nice relaxing drive through Las Vegas, we ended up going to dinner, meeting up with friends, and having a good time there. And then kind of looking at the hour, it was like, what do we want to do? And knowing we were gonna basically have to drive to Salt Lake, it was like, well, you should probably get at least some miles behind us. So started heading northeast, I guess it would be, and eventually stopped to put in another $250 or so of diesel in. And once we fueled up, a couple of people had some celebratory, sophisticated adult beverages and grinding out some more miles. Finally making it to Mesquite, where we were going to stop that night, Mesquite, Nevada, I guess it is. Ended up going into Walmart and picking up a few last minute things since we had some people join us, namely sleeping pads and super clutch, some little USB fans, because it was definitely pretty hot out. But went ahead, sprawled out pretty much all over the bus and settled in for a night's sleep. Be sure to join us as we continue the journey on the 2021 Coast to Coast Tour. And special thanks to our sponsors, Q, as well as Radian Weapons, High Point, Sawtooth Rifles, and our friends over at Shooting Surplus. And as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.